Good morning, guys. It is Friday morning, 5:53, and we're doing a little bit of a day in the life. Something like that. I don't know. That's sort of what I have envisioned. So, I just ate some breakfast. Got a big old bowl of cereal. I'll show you what I had. Super Nutty Oat Clusters. Pretty darn good. Had about 144 grams of that. So let me log that. That was 13 grams of protein and 99 grams of carbs, 23 grams of fat with, let's call it 8 ounces reduced fat milk. Bring me up to 769 calories on the day, 21 grams of protein, 110 grams of carbs, 27 grams of fat. Black coffee, as always. Now I also have my mushroom coffee. Set this up here. Set this up. I think I'm gonna get a tripod for this thing. So here is my Rise Mushroom Superfood Coffee. That's the creamer, which I'm not normally a creamer guy, as I showed you. Black coffee, but this is like my little special treat in the morning. And then Casey's ultimate power move. She's the one who figured this one out. Cinnamon. Really good. Just like Grandma used to make. Alright. Yeah, I gotta get a tripod for this thing. With like the bendy leg so I can kind of wrap around stuff. Because the selfie stick handle kind of works. Well, it's worked for how long have I done the vlog? Like 2 years now. Well, we're gonna go with the morning concoction. So creatine monohydrate in the form of Creapure from the Feed Labs. Biggest hack in the game. Super cheap. Super high quality. Probably as cheap as it gets on the market. One serving of stim-free pre-workout. I love the face tingles. But I don't need the extra caffeine because I'm already drinking one coffee. The mushroom coffee I'll sip on my way into work and finish throughout the morning. And then I have more coffee grounds in a travel French press. Last but not least, AG1, which admittedly I am just working on finishing up this last packet of it, and then we'll no longer be taking it. Why? Because I don't really notice or feel a difference. So that's ultimately why. Doesn't taste all that great. Again, I don't notice a major difference. Let's see if there's any change in my blood work. But then we got omega-3s, vitamin D3, K2. Some beetroot. Actually, I'll save this for later. No, we'll just do another thing in pre-workout later. And Tonga Ollie. For the men's health. Because, you know, I'll be 36 this year. I'm not getting any younger. And down the hatch. I screw up. Rookie move. How do you guys do with taking pills? Can you guys take them all at once? Or do you have to do individuals? I used to have to do individuals. And then I used to be able to take a lot more. And now I'm kind of back to like, I don't know, what was that? 2, 4, 6, 7. So sometimes I get stuck in the back of my throat. That's basically the morning routine. We're all squared away. Let's hit the road. 35-minute commute. Not gonna lie, not gonna miss that once I'm done. July 13th. No more Mondays. So it begins. The road to full-time indoor PT. Full-time self-employed, full-time boss, full-time CEO, full-time founder, owner, all of the things. Today is going to be a full day of treatments for HIPAA reasons, for reasons of not even really being allowed to do this because of my boss and the company. I cannot film it all in clinic. Which is a bummer, and I think when I start treating on my own, independently, July 13th, as long as patients are cool with it, I think I would like to bring you guys along for some treatments. Obviously, blurting out, you know, important stuff, things like that, like PHI and sensitive information. But it would be fun to have you guys come along for the ride for some treatments. A true day in the life. But that's just kind of planning out for the future. Today, like I said, full day, 8 patients, 8 hours of treats. As of now, anything could happen, but that's held steady all week. Training wise, well, actually before training wise, assignment on the day is, I've got to release, post and release the Fitness Friday or Friday Fitness Challenge. I always screw that up. Oh, it's my thing, so I can call it whatever I want. One and the same. They are the same. Friday Fitness Challenge. This week's was max duration dead hang, which I put up an abysmal performance. Would have loved to have exceeded a minute, but I didn't know where I was with the clock because I forgot the iPad again and had to use my Garmin, and I couldn't really look because I was trying to be cool on camera. So 49 seconds, not thrilled with it. I also haven't been doing much lifting, especially like by that nature, by not doing much pulling, which is where that's going to mostly come into play. So hey, here's what it is. Probably gonna get laughed at. That's okay. A little bit of vulnerability and humbleness does everyone some good. But after that work, then I got my meeting with myself, which those are very short right now. I have to do my weekly KPIs and prepare the month-end KPIs, which is a little bit longer, but again, with how the practice is currently, it takes a couple of minutes. I'm looking forward to the day that takes much longer. But then, big event on the day, my first race sim. So I'm doing a 4-hour race sim tonight, starting at 6 p.m., finishing up a little bit before 10 p.m., where every hour on the hour I will go out and I'll run my course, my yard, if you will, and I'll go into a little bit more detail on this on my Instagram after the fact. 4 hours, so 4 loops, 4 yards, will equal about 17 miles. I'm shooting for about 48 to 50 minutes per yard, per loop, which would give me about 10 or so minutes of prep time for the next lap. So I'm excited. This is my first prep one for sim. My goal in this training block is to build up to a 12-hour race sim at some point. Ideally about 3 weeks before the race, so I have ample time to recover. However, this is all largely dictated by how I handle the training load. So I won't arbitrarily just go for the 12-hour training sim if my body isn't prepared for it. So that's where recovery is critical. So that's the day in the nutshell. I will catch up with you guys. Well, I'll catch up with you guys after work, and then I can film some more. So, till then, see you guys later. Well, that wraps up the work day. Almost a full schedule. 7 patients out of 8 possible. Good day. Got something on the screen there. There we go. We had a new hire, well, a candidate, if you will, come in and shadow with us for a couple of hours. Nice kid. He's about 2 years out, working down in Greenwich, Connecticut. Seemed excited, seemed motivated, good conversationalist, asked good questions, seemed interested enough in the job. I think he would be a good fit. Can definitely tell that he, one, that he's young, and 2, that he's been in sort of a mill type clinic, because he just, that's sort of some of the questions that he asked, and his train of thought was along the lines of how some of these more traditional clinics are run. So hopefully we can break some of those bad habits if we hire him. I liked him. I give him a thumbs up, check mark.
worth throwing an offer out. But enough about work. Enough about that kind of work, at least. Now, it is time to head home. So I'm on my way home now. It is 3:46. I'll be home around 4:30. A little bit longer of a commute than it was on the way in because of traffic. So when I get home, I'm going to quickly run through my weekly KPIs. This was a goose egg on a week. I didn't have any clients. Nobody paid a monthly installment. So this one's easy, but I'll still walk you guys through the process. It'll take longer to open up my Mac, log in, and pull up the file than it will be for me to update. Which is just the current state of things. Again, quiet week. But then it is time to get ready for tonight's 4-hour race sim. So I'm gonna prepare all of my nutrition and hydration so that on the fly, I'll have 10 minutes. I can just fill up bottles and go, which will be nice to not have to worry. So I'll probably load up like a cooler or something like that and bring everything down. Aim to get down there around 5:30 or so, get a solid warm up in, do a little bit of core. I do have to feed the animals tonight, but that takes 5 minutes. I'm excited. A little almost like pre-race jitters, but that's good. That's good. I haven't run at night in a while. I haven't run through these trails. Oh, excuse me. At night in a while, so we'll see how it goes. Zero stress, zero. Well, there's gonna be sweat because it's gonna be warm. It's warm now. No pressure. Just 4 loops with a 10-minute break in between. Easy. This will by far be the longest, or the biggest volume day I've posted in a extremely long time. Honestly, since the race last year, this will be the most mileage I've logged in a single effort, a single run, a single day. Which is kind of weird if you think about it, but every cycle has its peak, and right now this is my peak. Thankfully not peak for the whole training block, just peak for right now. So 4 by roughly 4.25 miles will be a little bit over 17 miles. I am just excited to do it. But let me finish this drive and I'll catch up with you guys back at the house as I'm doing KPIs, prepping stuff, all of that jazz. So, see you in a little bit. All right, as promised. Man. Sometimes it does that. It won't like register my fingerprint, but dismiss, bunch of tabs open. Where are we? KPI. There we go. No, that's not the right one.
That's the right one. 0, 0. I had 2 calls. 0 evals. 0, 0, 0. Boom. And this was... That was the week. Like I said, very quick. Not much going on this week. All right, so I've got nutrition prepped for each hour. So I'm gonna aim for 90 grams of carbs per hour. Each of these bottles, this is the one I'm starting out with, this has 90 grams of carbs plus 1,000 milligrams of sodium. This one has just straight water in it, as does this. And then each 1, 2, 3, each of these has 90 grams of carbs and 1,000 milligrams of sodium. And we are off. Car's loaded up. I got my nutrition, I got my hydration, I got my phone, I got shoes, I got batteries for the headlamp. We are locked and loaded. I'm excited. Kicking off in T-minus 35 minutes. Plenty of time to get a decent warm-up in, do a bit of core activation, and then we're rolling. 6 p.m. sharp send off. Boom. All right. Can't really see that well. Let's go. There we go. Downlighting, not the greatest. Uplighting. We're going with that. So, 4-hour last man standing sim done in the books. There were 4.3 mile loops, 4 of them. Every hour on the hour, went out and did one. Walking the inclines and declines, running the flats, or jogging the flats rather, was a little bit quick for the course, I think. So I could use some slowing down. But this is why we practice. Nutrition-wise, felt good. 90 grams of carbs per hour was solid. No GI issues on that. Could probably stand to take in a little bit more fluids during the rest period. On the last hour, the last loop, I forgot my soft flask, so I had no nutrition, no fluids, no hydration, nothing, which is fine. It was the last loop, but definitely started to feel a little bit of like lack of hydration through that third loop. So the fourth one, thankfully that was the last one. Otherwise that would have dug me into a pretty big hole. But overall, I'm pleased with how that went. 17.2 miles. It was like 2:57 and change total run time. 10:21 pace, something like that. Moving time, obviously. So pleased with where things stand. Achilles is a little sore. Right glute hammy tight, which feels honestly a little bit more like a nervy thing. So I'll have to address that. But yeah, all in, pretty pleased. Biggest run on the training block. Big effort without feeling like a big effort. First night run. Solid. Time to go home, shower. I need to eat something. Definitely get some protein in to help prepare. I would love to hit the Normatec boots. Actually, I can't call them Normatec boots because they're not Normatec. X-Frost, something, Frost Fit, something or other. Compression boots, in any event. Get a little bit of recovery in. I need to stretch, definitely hydrate, and then go to bed. I'll see you guys in the morning. Well, morning after the 4 hour last man standing sim. Did not sleep well. Combination of eating a lot before bed, being very sore, a couple of friction spots from running that I didn't feel during, but came on after I showered, and legs being just very fidgety, well, like restless leg, which I get sometimes when I put forth like a big effort. But got the Frost Fit compression boots on, sleeves. Did not do them last night. I was filthy, so I don't want to throw these on when I was in dire need of a shower. And by the time I ate, stretched, went upstairs to shower, I was shot. I was not coming back down to do these, which I probably should have, but I was tired. But then I was too tired, and then all the other things to effectively fall asleep. So it was just a tough night. So I'm very tired. Excuse me. A little bit before 6 a.m. I was fidgety this morning, so I came down early rather than trying to lay in bed. And figured Casey would appreciate a little bit of quiet sleep, so I'm doing some recovery work. I'm going to do the big three while I'm down here, which the big three has evolved. I'll do daily stoic, 5-minute journal, Spanish, read. I'll read. So really it's like the big four. And enjoy my coffee. On for the day, though, is the BPDGC, which is the disc golf tournament Casey's cousins on her dad's side put on each year. And this is the first year we've been able to go in 3 years. So this is the 5th year of doing it. This is only my 2nd time being able to do it. So here, that is the morning so far. I got 24 minutes left of this before I can leave and do anything. Waylon's down here. We're enjoying the morning. I'll catch up with you guys after. Alright, well, now that I can form a coherent thought, last night's run was a big milestone. It marked the longest run I've had since last year's Last Man Standing. It was a good test and trial run on some nutrition stuff, trying higher carb intake for a multi-hour period, because really in like a 1 or 2 hour stint, like you're not really giving your body a chance to get out of here, kind of go through and process and be exposed over a sustained period of time to that high level of carbohydrate intake, which can in some cases cause some GI distress. Bearabells, protein, chocolate dough for the win.
So 3 hours of exposure was a good trial run. I say 3 instead of 4 because I forgot my soft last on that last loop. So I wasn't taking in the 90 grams of carbs and 1,000 milligrams of sodium per hour. I do want to do a sweat test, like a formal sweat test. I'm eyeing a couple of like at-home sensors to trial. So that I can get the hydration, including electrolyte intake, dialed. Because right now it's really just like trial and error and guessing. And I could definitely tell I needed more fluids, because the soft flask I will be doing the race in handheld is only 12 fluid ounces. And I know for a fact I need more than that, for sure. Could tell that after 3 hours. How much more I need though, that I don't know. So it would be nice to get some actual objective data on that. Overall, I think the body tolerated the load fairly well. You know, obviously some fatigue set in. A couple just like, I don't even want to call them injuries, little nagging issues that I'm aware of made themselves more aware on the run, especially in the later miles. But as far as like a propulsion or a ability to move forward, solid. I think I averaged about 44 to 45 minutes per loop. Granted, that skewed a little bit because the last loop I ran in like 40 minutes just so that I could be done. But like that felt good. Like the run never felt taxing. And again, I say all this in the context that it was only over 4 hours, which is a third of what my best effort at this event has been. And I don't know, a sixth of what my all-time best effort for a continuous running cycle has been. But nonetheless, a positive test. And so that's sort of where I want to end this whole vlog. Is it's important in training to have certain benchmarks, milestones, tests where you put forth a specific effort to, one, work on strategy, simulate race conditions, see how you tolerate those, trial new things, and then with that data, change your plan if needed until that next iteration, that next check mark, that next milestone, recheck, test leading into your event is. And so I will take this information that I got moving forward, build off of that, so that I can be in as strong of shape as possible. One thing I do want to continue to implement are some of my PT specific exercises to just address some of these underlying nagging kind of aches and things like that. So continuing to work on body work, continuing to work on sort of corrective exercises, as much as I hate that term, to provide as much resilience for my body as possible, especially if I'm going to go after my goal of 24 plus hours on this event in a couple of months. I know this week's vlog really had next to nothing to do with business, the practice, entrepreneurship. We did some KPI stuff. This was a bit more of like a training thing, but sort of balancing life with training, with running a business. A little bit of a day in the life of, if you will. So I'll close this vlog out with saying, don't forget to test yourself along the way. There are important markers for you, just to make sure that you're on track and on the right course. And if you need to make a course adjustment, a training adjustment, whatever that might be, and this is applicable to all things in life, in business, in training, that's the purpose of these little tests, these check marks, these benchmarks along the way, just to make sure that you are doing the right things to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. So keep driving forward, guys. I believe in you. Keep pushing on. Keep fighting the good fight. Grind away. As always, relentless effort. And you will accomplish what you set forth to accomplish. So, until the next video, guys, I will see you guys later.